Hey guys, it's Shawn Anen, the Connection Machine, aka the Insurance Doctor. This is live number 40 on the year. I want to make sure this is lunchtime, so grab your sandwich, your soup, your salad, your protein drink, whatever the heck you got, and make sure you sit back and relax for the next half hour and learn, gain some nuggets of information, things that can change your life, change you personally and professionally. But also, we want you to implement, take action. Don't just sit here and listen. Take some of the nuggets of information we go over and use in your daily practices. I want to bring on my panel. Here they go. What's going on, guys?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks so
here.
much. Thanks much for sharing the time with us today, guys.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having us. I'm looking forward to this.
This is
For
the
you,
first.
Shawn, anything.
Great agents here.
This is great that we're gonna, drop some value. We're gonna try to be conscious of everyone else, whoever's talking. We're going to try to keep it like a little round robin, have some questions on the screen. We'll engage with those that are online with us, and we're going to drop some nuggets of information. So let's do a little introduction. Let's start. I guess we'll go clockwise. If everyone looks like me on the left, and then it goes, the doctor, and then it goes to Shawn and then Jamie. Let's just introduce each other and see where we can start off from. How long have you been in business as well?
So I'm up first.
Yes, sir.
So hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Real Estate. That's my brand name. Been in the business 7 years. I am Director of Business Development at Realty Empire, boutique brokerage in Clifton, New Jersey. And I just love real estate.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Shawn Anen, Keller Williams Prosperity Realty in Wayne. Been in the business 17 years, actually going over the hump of 17, getting close to the 18-year mark at this point. So been through it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, the last crash, this pandemic. So here we are today, man. Love what I do.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys. It's Jamie Silverman with Coldwell Banker in Livingston, New Jersey. I have now hit my 20-year mark in real estate, and so happy I'm still here, and really happy to be on this call with all of you guys, and looking forward to learning and contributing.
It's awesome. So we have 20 years, Jamie, 18 years, Shawn, and how much for Peter?
7. I'm the newer kid on the block.
This is awesome. There's going to be things that you hopefully gain from this, and I'm sure Jamie and Shawn might learn some new tricks of the trade that Peter is bringing to the table as well. So this is going to be awesome. So
always learning.
Those that are on the call, we definitely just a couple things. Please hit that love button, hit the wow button. Hit hashtag live and hashtag replay if you're nervous, you don't like to engage. But if you have questions throughout, drop them in the comments. Please, please, please hit the share button. We would love to help as many people in your network as well with the knowledge, the background, the strategies to help others. So we're going to start off by a couple different things. So we're going to start with Peter. Could you start and share with us your daily disciplines that you go through each day?
Sure. Well, before Corona, my day always starts at started at 5:30. I'm a very big gym buff. I used to be a competitive bodybuilder in my 20s, and so I'm very regimented. So it's waking up, I would meditate for 5-10 minutes, and then go to the gym, train, 6:15 a.m. till 8:15, 2 hours at least. That's the second, and then come home, shower, get to the office by 9, and do my round of cold calls until about 10:30. That's my morning disciplines consistently for the last 7 years.
Awesome. That's very awesome. It's good that you get up and you're being active, and it gets you pumped up for the rest of the day, literally.
For sure.
That is awesome. Thanks for sharing. Shawn.
So mine's actually very, very similar to Peter's, besides the competitive bodybuilding part. So I'm an early morning riser. So 4:58 is my time. And literally, so before my feet even hit the ground, before I come out of bed, I immediately, as soon as I wake up, what are 5 things I'm grateful for? And I go through those 5 things, and it could be anything, like super crazy random stuff. I go downstairs, I get my coffee, I bring it back up, and I spend 20 minutes in gratitude, which used to be meditation, but it's really geared towards gratitude. I'm huge on gratitude. Be grateful for what you got. And then after that, I hit the gym, which happens to be in my garage, which is, probably the best thing to happen since Corona. But in my gym's in my garage. I get down there probably around 6 o'clock, from 6 o'clock to 7:15ish, depending on, how crazy I go. I'm done. Eat breakfast, shower, spend some time with the kids in the morning, and I get to the office by 9:15. By 9:30, I'm on the phones prospecting. From 9:30 to 11:30, it's lead generation, actually like straight build people, build the relationships and put people in my pipeline. From 11:30, 12:30, we go right into lead follow-up. So before Corona, obviously this is, changed things a little bit. I'm here in my basement, so I got my kids upstairs. So it definitely derailed my morning a little bit, but yeah, I mean, those are the disciplines for sure.
And having kids, you got to change up your disciplines, because sometimes
you gotta be adaptable. Absolutely. So my lead gen has actually switched a little bit towards the afternoon now, because I take my daughter in the morning, and there's, with the whole Corona thing going on, there's a lot of massaging on a lot of deals in the morning. So
no, 100%. It's a major. And I love how you got the activity too. You're maybe not the bodybuilder, but you're keeping health in
check. Gotta move,
check.
man. Gotta move. Move.
Awesome, Jamie.
Oh my goodness, I'm impressed with you guys. You're young and ready to go. I every day start my morning between 6:30 and 7 o'clock. That's when I wake up, and the first thing I do, say mentally, is something wonderful is going to happen today. And something wonderful does happen every day. You just have to look for it. So something wonderful is going to happen today. I take my dogs downstairs, get them all handled. Then I go to the gym. This is BC. I say before Corona. Go to the gym, quick workout, just in and out like a CrossFit. An hour, get everything done. Then I'm back at home. I have an assistant at the office who's doing all the admin stuff and taking care of that. I have an office in home. So then I start going through my emails and my prospecting. I'd say I'd be doing email follow-up and prospecting between 9:30 and 11. And after that, and I can do that. I did it then and I do it now, follow up. And then I work on appointments in the afternoon, setting up, scheduling appointments. That's kind of my routine. And at night, every night before I go to bed, I pick 3 things that I'm grateful for before my head hits the pillow. And I go over them, settle down, relax, and I end my day with my gratitude. I guess gratitude for just waking up at this point is being grateful out there enough.
100%. The gratitude is important. Having systems in place is a commonality amongst all of you, which is you need to have. You got to have you can't just wake up and just wing it. You got to have certain things you got to do every day. And I appreciate you guys sharing your daily disciplines. Now, let's go with Shawn. I would love to go into, what ways are you personally developing yourself? A lot of people, and I joke, I've been personally developing my health. Yes, I used to train a lot when I was younger. I was into baseball. My daughter had a liver transplant a year ago. So my physical health was jeopardized, or I wasn't paying attention to. So I'm actually getting more active, doing 10 rounds boxing. It's pretty cool with Beachbody. So that's my new personal development. What is some of the things that you're doing, Shawn?
I'm a huge believer in where focus goes, energy flows, right? So it's if there's an aspect in your life that you need help on, you do whatever you have to do to focus on that point to get energy there, right? So for me, on a personal development standpoint, and just to keep my head clear, I listen to podcasts, I listen to / read books. But one of the biggest things as far as personal development that I have found that worked for me is just developing a system and listening to the voice within, right? So everything that I've listened to and that I've learned from this point on to this point on, like the Tony Robbins stuff, the Darren Hardy stuff, another mentor of mine, Garrett J. White, all these people that I've listened to along the way, they're great. Gary V, there's so many different messages and so many different ways. And a lot of the times you listen to it, take what you can, apply it, move on. However, you hear somebody say something complete opposite that you totally respect, and now it completely messes with your insides a little bit. So for me, I believe a lot of the self-development stuff comes from like leadership books, like Maxwell, like, you know, so a lot of the stuff that I'm really geared towards now is like, how do I help other people, right? So like, it's more like leadership and just being able to help, you know, others, right? So I feel like I've helped myself a lot, and now the self within is like, hey, there's another level for you to go and help some more people. So that's really been my focus now. So
awesome. Helping others is a huge proponent of myself, my business, and I know a lot of you too. So that's awesome. Thanks, Shawn. Jamie, same question, please.
Well, how I'm personally developing myself, I've been doing that since I was 18 years old. And one of the things I do follow for personal development is landmark education. And landmark education really teaches you to take responsibility for everything that you do and don't do in life. Do what you say you're going to do. You say you're going to follow up, and, you know, have integrity around everything. So really, for me, keeping my integrity in is very important, especially in real estate. And there's a curriculum for living with Landmark that I've done the whole curriculum, but one of the second courses is all about branching out into your communities and doing things and creating like a community project and helping others. So big on that. My personal development as far as business, I'm a really big Tom Ferry follower, and I think his coaching is unbelievable. He created a new program that is been helping me so much during this COVID time. It's called Pivot. And what it is we're pivoting in our thinking and shifting our whole marketing and everything. How we work today is different than how we worked yesterday. And what are you going to do within the next, 30, 60, 90 days to keep your business moving forward? So that's, it's not even a plug, but anyone who wants to look into Tom Ferry, his coaching and the coaches on this program are unbelievable. Every day I get on a webinar, except for Thursdays, 12 o'clock. And it's through and that 12 to 1 o'clock shift, I have learned so much in the last 3 weeks. You're not bound into a contract or anything. It's really, he's just giving back to the real estate community. So what he's taught me is a lot of, video, and we can go into that later, but, landmark education, always be working on yourself. I always think there's opportunity to grow personally and professionally. So everything I do is within that space of me growing, but also growing my communities and the people around me. So that's
awesome. Thank you very much for sharing. And then Peter.
All right, personal development. Let's see. So I'm going to be completely and brutally honest. Everybody that follows me on social media knows that I have no filter and it's me raw. Shawn, you know this.
Authentic. Do it.
50% love me, 50% hate me. It's just the way it is, and I embrace it. But in my 20s, I'm not gonna lie, I was super selfish. I just cared about myself and making money and getting out there and just hustling, and that was my mentality. As I transitioned into my 30s and became a little bit more evolved and started to grow, I realized that there are a lot of people that need help. Just like Shawn said, a lot of people, a lot of rookies, especially rookie agents, first year, 6 month. I think there's statistics out there that 87% of realtors quit after 2 years, right? So, I'm first generation Mexican American. I came from nothing. My parents came from nothing. I'm the first person in my family to, make money, get a doctorate degree. So I started to, within the last 2 years, give all the knowledge that I have in terms of my scripts and my prospecting, how I generate business. And I've just been giving it to everyone. And anyone that wants to learn, anyone that wants to shadow, that wants to just, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? I don't care. I said, you know what? This is what I do. Take it, learn from it, make money, get out there, help other people as well. So I think that's my personal growth on that standpoint. In terms of my business, I don't know. I just still do things, I guess, old school. I'm a big cold calling person. I believe cold calling, it's like my bread and butter. So I haven't changed much in 7 years. It's just I've just been able to fine tune what I say, but it just continues to be my path, I guess. That's it.
No, that's awesome. You know, you have to continue to make yourself better and help others get to that point too. So you guys shared some wonderful things there about personal development. Now, I would love to find out, let's have Jamie go first on this one. How do you market your business?
Okay, so I'm marketing my business? I'm branding myself consistently. I have a niche market, Livingston and Short Hills. I've been branding myself through print ad, everything from billboards to the back of the receipts on ShopRite. I call it the layering effect. And, you know, with direct mail, print ad, print mail, internet marketing. So I have several different forms of marketing streams, and I use all of them. And basically, it's the layering effect, and people don't even realize it, but people will stop me in a restaurant and be like, oh, you're the girl on the billboard, or I've seen you on the ShopRite cart, which was literally 15 years ago in Short Hills when I was on the ShopRite cart. They're like, I remember you. So it's the little things that, like, subconsciously people don't realize they're seeing. But the thing that really makes it work is consistency. You can't do it for 1 or 2 months. I've been doing it for years and years and years, and having just years branding, personal branding. And now all the companies are into really personal branding versus company branding. So, you know, I've just been taking that to the next level. And now I'm going to start marketing with BombBomb. So email and video, video, email, and virtual everything. I bought my gimbal. So my friend told me how to use it. I'm like making all these movies, and I've become an editor now. iMovie. Can't get my cameraman out there. So now I'm editing myself. It's my daughter's birthday yesterday. I edited a little film. She was like, Mom, that was the cheesiest thing, but I love it. That's what she said. So between the branding, the layering effect, and using at least 4 forms of marketing. So that's what I do, and it seems to have worked, or is working.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, consistency is a huge proponent no matter what. Peter, would you please give us how do you market your business?
Yeah, so, you know, a lot of people really don't know my name is Peter. Everybody just knows me as Dr. Real Estate. I'm huge. You know, I target the millennial demographic, obviously. So I guess it's just 2 different platforms. Long and short, social media is my bread and butter. You know, I split it up into 2 platforms. Instagram is more for my millennial buyers. So I target a lot of my listings to generate buyers from Instagram. And then my Facebook is geared towards the older demographic, to a little bit more professional, a little bit more polished, suit, tie, to generate listings. And that's how basically I break it up. And obviously I do billboards as well. I mean, in Clifton on Route 46, that's big as well. And I also get stopped at restaurants, which is ridiculous when you think about it. Oh my God, I saw you on Instagram. I saw your video. You're Dr. Real Estate, aren't you? And I'm like, hey, how are you? Do you want to buy a house? But that's the way I generate my business. That's my platform.
And using social media is huge, and having that omnipresence is important to have for sure. Awesome. Thanks so much, Peter. Shawn, please, what are your little tips and tricks that you're doing?
So we live in such amazing times to where business and personal is so tied in, especially in the job that we're in. And, you know, my Facebook page, as crazy as it sounds, I mean, it's such a huge, it's a derivative of like our lives, right? Like my life as a dad, as a baseball coach to my son, as a cameraman for my son's football game, and, you know, just being present with there and tying it into the Facebook and branding what I do. Like, everybody knows me for real estate, right? Like, nobody knows me as like Shawn the dad, but I take Shawn the dad, and wherever I go, I bring in Shawn the realtor, you know? And so it's just, everything is everything. And in my world, in my life, it's just, I take these 2, I mesh them together. And really the marketing side comes from, it always sparks from a question like, who do I want to attract? And whether it's a buyer, whether it's a seller, whether it's a specific kind of person that I want to, bring into my life, into my world, it's who do I want to attract? What message do I want to put out there? And then, so I really tailor my marketing based on that. And, I've found a little bit of a groove, as crazy as it sounds, with Instagram stories, man. Like Instagram stories, I get so many people that DM me on my Instagram stories. And even, just the other day, I have my phone in my hand and I'm talking to my wife and I'm looking at Facebook, and your Facebook feed is like your typical feed, right? But on top of that, you just see like the little squares of people's stories. I'm like, that's like the billboard ticker up there. Like my face always up there. Like that's just people, constant reminders in front of people's face. Like here's Shawn, there's Shawn, there's Shawn, and everybody knows what I do, right? And so how do I take that and actually amplify it? And it's to provide great service. So I tie my great service and being available and being who I am and always doing what I do into my whole marketing piece. And it just comes together.
Definitely. Service.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's definitely great value there, guys. If you're watching, please hashtag live, hashtag replay, hit the share button, hit the wow button, drop questions that you might have for us. We're going to do a question and answer at the end. So please drop, engage, and share this live. Share this live. It's so important that we continue to grow and help other people. So we're going to go to the next question. I want to dive even deeper. A lot of people get into real estate. They go to the real estate school. They pass a test, and they think, oh, I'm going to make $100,000. Now I passed the test, right? They don't teach you about lead generation. I know we talked about marketing, and that's more of a blanketed thing. How do you specifically focus on lead generation? Let's start with Shawn, if he would.
So here's the thing with real estate, right? Everybody wants to make $100,000. Everybody thinks you make $100,000. The crazy thing is we're all independent contractors. So that $100,000, you could take 35,000 and just give it away. And now you're left with that little block of, I don't say little block, but that's $65,000. So the person that wants to make $100,000 really needs to go and make $200,000 to make it work. Yeah. So that's kind of like a myth that, again, Peter talking about 87% of agents failing within the first year. That's a huge percent of it, a huge perception of it that the $100,000 mark is kind of like the barometer, right? So, but it's a little bit different in our world. So from a lead generation standpoint, I'm huge on the cold calls. I've always, 3 weeks into the business, back in 2003 when I got licensed, I had a coach. I didn't even know what the heck I was doing. Guys, somebody in my office, like, you got to get a coach. We went to some seminar. I got sold on a coach. I'm like, all right, I'll get a coach. And I've always had a coach throughout these 17 years of selling real estate. And that first coach ingrained in my core on who I am as a real estate agent. If you want the phone to ring, you need to pick up the phone and make it ring. And so to this day, 9:30 to 11:30, scratch COVID, right? A little bit different times here, but again, my typical cadence, 9:30 to 11:30, straight lead generation, fill the pipeline, get new people, fill the pipeline, whatever it takes, expireds, for sale by owners, circle prospecting. My kids are dropping stuff up there. Circle prospecting, calling around open houses, calling around new listings, calling around just solds. Just pick up the phone, make other people's phone ring, and your phone will ring. And then from 11:30, 12:30, follow up on who's in the pipeline, follow up on the person that said they're waiting for the next 2 months, the person that's waiting for the next 3 months, whatever that benchmark is, and just constantly stay in front of people. And then tie that into the whole Facebook marketing and just let it snowball.
Thanks so much, Shawn. Peter, can you elaborate on what you're doing for lead generation? I will definitely want to hear, and guys that are watching, he's been in business for 7 years and he's crushing it on social media. I don't want to take any words out of his mouth, but I'd love to hear what comes out of what he's doing for lead generation.
So same concept with Shawn. I never was coach. I never joined Tom Ferry or any of these other platforms, but my business partner, the broker CEO of Realty Empire, Chris, he came from mortgages. He had a banker's license. You know, he knows mortgages inside and out. And in the mortgage industry, you got to prospect and cold call and just generate these leads. And he basically engraved that into my head from the start. I come from, you know, my doctorate degree is in chemistry. I have a PhD in organic chemistry that I'll never use ever again. I had no formal training in sales at all. I didn't come from sales. I've never sold anything in my life. And when I came my first rookie year, Chris is like, get on the phones and let me hear how you talk. And without even thinking, I was like, all right. I always just jump into things without thinking. And obviously it's rough the first 20 probably, or maybe 100 calls that I made that day. But that set the tone. Like, you know, it's not that bad. And that's where I was coached by him. Say this, stand up while you're talking, get motivated. You know, that energy translates over the phone. And then I transitioned into door knocking and hitting up expireds for sale by owners. My first listing, I was licensed in July. My first listing was the end of August, a for sale by owner. And he showed me a stack of cards. I came in decked out in a suit. It was dead of summer, so hot. I was sweating, but I was in a full-blown suit. And the guy was like, look how many cards are here. How many realtors want my business? Why should I give it to you? And I just pitched them from the emotional side of the sale. You know, I'm young, I'm hungry, I can get this done. He gave me a shot, and that was my first listing that I actually sold. So in terms of prospecting, now cold call, I canvas if I sell something in Clifton or I sell something in Wayne, random cold call. Hey, I just sold X, Y, and Z right around the corner. I'm calling the whole area. Are you interested in selling in 2020? And then I have a whole script that I go if they say no, but I still do that now. And I teach that to all of my agents to continuously do that. In terms of the buyer side, I'm just really active on social media. I'll tag on locations, New York, for example, on some of my listings that I go to. I get some of the New York buyers that just say, oh, what is this? They click on it and they say, oh, this house is nice in New Jersey. And then they'll shoot me a DM and, hey, I'm a nurse from Brooklyn. I'm looking to move into New Jersey. Great, let's go. That's basically how I continue to, we can't door knock or, do anything like that now, but that's basically my bread and butter.
No, thank you so much for sharing. Peter, the doctor of real estate. Last but not least, Jamie.
Okay, we're talking about prospecting, lead
generation, prospecting. How do you, get your leads?
So I started also in cold calling. My first big deal was FSBO for sale by owner. And as I told you last week, that one $560,000 listing translated into $6 million worth of business that year. That was my first or second year in business. And the referral business. So I'm very big on my sphere. So marketing and calling and prospecting to my sphere. I also get new business through social media, like my colleagues here, social media. But sphere, we used to do the 10, 5, 10, 10 to the side, 10 up the block, the calls, open house calls when we had open houses, inviting people to open houses, sending out invitations, really inviting the neighbors in, meeting them. My business has developed a lot into the listing business. Listing side, I represent more sellers than buyers. And now I'm looking to focus on some buyers as well. So mostly sphere of influence, generating new business through my lead generation systems, whether it's social media, marketing, or mail. And that's where I am right now. It's 20 years in the business. Thank goodness I have a lot of repeat business. I actually just closed a deal from one of my first buyers from that first FSBO, that $6 million worth of business. They came back to me to sell their house 10 years later or 14 years later. And I sold it for them. And it was great. So that's what I do.
No, that's awesome. You guys had some awesome value right there. And guys, continue. We have some questions that are going to come up soon. We have one more for the panel, then we'll go to some question and answer. Don't forget to hit that share button, hit the wow button. Drop your questions you might have for our panelists so we can continue engaging you. And again, don't stop sharing our live. We want you to share. The last one I want to we talked about marketing. We talked about lead generation. Well, you have to close sales, and there has to be some kind of tips you might have learned in your past. You might have read some books. You might have been on podcasts. You maybe learned from a trainer or a coach. But I would love if Peter start. We'll have Peter start this one. What are 3 sales tips that work for you?
3 sales tips that work for me.
Yeah.
Is this just general in terms of?
In general, for those that are watching, we have a lot of people in the sales business, and maybe they have trouble, in certain areas. Maybe some things are working for you, and maybe that can be an enlightenment for them.
I think really, I guess 3 sales tips for me that work for me. A big one is consistency. You have to be consistent. You cannot just say I'm going back to cold calling. You guys see I love cold calling. You can't just say I'm going to cold call today between 9 and 10. You do it for 3 days, and then you don't do it for a month.
Yep.
It doesn't work like that. You have to be consistent. Now, over the years, Jamie, I'm just now starting to see that trickle of business from 7 years ago from my referral spheres, and that's I literally the last 2 years have just been that. So training my agents, I kind of fell off on doing that, but now I'm back to what I used to do, and I'm more seasoned, more polished, and it seems like it just comes very easy now. But consistency, you have to be consistent. You always have to just set your time block. Do not let anything distract you between 9 and 11 a.m. If that's your time, and 5 and 7, nothing can distract you from that time block. So consistency is one. Other sales tips, for the consumer, whether it's a buyer or a seller, I'm big on educating. Provide that type of service to your buyer or to your seller in terms of education. And if they like you, if you're good, they'll give you business. Mm-hmm. And 3, I guess, sales tips, be honest. In our industry, I've met over the years, I'm sure you guys have some pretty frivolous realtors out there, and sometimes you don't realize how they're in business, but you just have to be honest and have integrity with your buyer and your seller. If it means a deal is going to die and you're going to lose a commission, let that deal die if it's in the best interest of your buyer, because or seller, that will always come back tenfold down the line for you. And I think that's just what I've used over the years, and it seems to have worked for me.
No, that's awesome, man. Consistency, education, and honesty. 100%. Love it. Shawn, would you like to, expound on what your little tips you would share with those that are watching us today?
Yeah. Probably one of the biggest ones for me is be authentic, right? Like be real. If you're too salesy, people see through that. There's a term called commission breath in the industry, right? Like people smell it a mile away. And to like what Peter said, if it's in the best interest of somebody else to not buy a house, remove yourself from that, right? Like you got to have the integrity to do it. Like I live by integrity driven results. Like that is at the core of my business. Like that's just how I'm built, right? And the authenticity piece just tails off of that. And number one, definitely be authentic. Number 2, probably the most important tip is you need to lead generate, whatever that means to you. Some people link that to cold calling automatically. Some people link it to for sale, but whatever lead generation means to you, whether it's knocking on the door, whether it's calling your sphere every single day or every other, whatever it is, you need to lead generate. Have to. You can have the best follow-up system in the world, but if you have 0 people to follow up with, you're not making any money. Is the bottom line, right? Third thing, follow up, right? So you could lead gen, never follow up with anybody. They're going to call the person that happens to step into them the right point in their timeline, right? So follow up. Buyers and sellers all have this timeline, whether it's, whether they're starting to look now, or they're starting to look later, or they're starting to look now from just like an online inquiry on Facebook. And you take that, you put that into your pipeline, you put that into your follow-up system, and then you continue to follow up with that person to meet them at the end of their timeline. When that timeline stops, follow-up starts all over again, because 7 years later, like Peter said, you're going to be talking to them again, either sell them another house or buy them another house. So those are my tips.
Those are awesome, guys. Authenticity, lead generation, and follow up. 100%. Thanks so much, Shawn. Jamie, Well,
Okay. As far as sales and being a closer, I learned in the business very early that you got to answer your phone and answer your phone. You don't realize how many people don't answer their phone, especially when you're working with other realtors. So, as far as closing and selling, one of the most important things, it's not just that, it's actually crossing the finish line, because you all know everybody can write a contract, and getting into attorney review, there's about 60 different steps that you've got to get through to actually get the sale closed. And it's not the work starts after you write the contract. It's not when you write the contract. So you answer your phone and be in communication. So if you're working with first-time home buyers, you got to explain the process to them. They're like, what's next? Where do I put the escrow check? You've got to educate your buyers and your sellers too. Like, how does this work? What you don't realize how much people don't know about real estate and being a realtor, and how much information we really provide to people. People think that, our jobs aren't relevant at this point. You can put a house on there's so much education and so many steps in real estate sales. So answer the phone, be speedy about it, and always follow up. If someone leaves you a message, don't get back to them 24 hours later. First thing is first impressions. 5 minutes. You got to be, very quick. The next thing is, when you do call them back, listen. Selling without selling. So after you listen, ask more qualifying questions. If you know what they want, or try, if you ask a lot of questions, that's half the battle for buyers before you take them out. When I go on a seller appointment, I listen, I ask a lot of questions, qualifying questions, motivational questions, market questions. Do you want to be in, pricing strategy questions? And I listen to all these things. And then I decide, as they decide, they're hiring me, I'm also hiring them. Some are a fit, some aren't a fit. And if I sell out on my, on the things that I really know are important to get, I used to, in the beginning, when you want to get a listing, some of the things you'll go soft on. So 20 years ago, my first listings, you're like, the competition gets stiff. But so asking questions and listening and qualifying your buyer or seller to see if it's the right fit for both of you. I find that when I'm actually in the middle of a sale, again, as I said, it's not about selling, it's about getting across the finish line. How many times have you gone into home inspections or you're in attorney review and your buyers want to bring their parents in before you're out of attorney review? And then the parents come in and kill the deal. I call the parents, sometimes the parents are, they see things that their children can't see. What I tell you there, don't try to convince anybody to buy a house. So do not put the hard press squeeze when you're selling. Selling is not hard pressed forcing. It's helping. So I find when I'm selling, if I'm helping, it works a lot better than if, someone gets like commission breath. So I've learned that, over 20 years is less is more. When you're selling, less is more. And, don't convince anybody. Like, oh my goodness, that's not such a big deal, or be calm, because what you know isn't a big deal could definitely be a deal breaker in home inspections. But really, you ask questions again, get to the root of where they're being stopped, and put yourself in their shoes. Like, hey, they might have a kid with allergies or this or that. It's just not black and white. There's a lot of gray when selling. So I think my tips are speed and, communication. So be that speed and communication, listening, asking a lot of questions, and just educating, getting across the finish line. And also, for selling, having a great team around you. So I know, like, I have a mortgage person I can depend on, an insurance person I can depend on, a contractor I can depend on. It's not just me. I'm working and collaborating with a team. You know, I love to see, like in the music industry, when one artist collaborates with another, and we're seeing that all the time. It's like, it's almost when, you know, they are collaborating, they're getting the best result. So it's not just me. Real estate used to be a very lonely business. You think it's a lonely business, but when you put a team together, not just buyers agents and sellers agents, the people who are there to help you, and you know they're going to cross the finish line with you. That's really important. So as I say, the sale, my father would say, it ain't over until it's over. Don't tell me about it until it's done. I used to be like, oh, I wrote a contract. Don't tell me about it. Oh, we're in attorney review. And then somebody else is thinking about don't give me, you know, the evil curse. Don't calculate a commission or anything. I don't want to hear it. That's the kiss of death right there. Just steady, communicate, go through the sale, and, you know, have a lot of stuff in the pipeline. Because if one blows up, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Have a lot of things rolling. And, you know, that's where I am. That's what I've learned over 20 years in sales. Less is more.
Awesome. That was awesome, guys. We had so much value there. And I don't want to take too much more of your guys' time. This is awesome that we're able to spend some time together and drop all this value with those that are watching us. We had a few people make some comments. I would love for you guys to go back into the feed and answer those. Each one of you answer those. One was from Robert Abrams. You know, what are 3 favorite ways to contribute to others? We have one from Misha. What lead generator do you like best, if any, either for expireds, for sale by owners, etc.? We had Michael DeCuna said cold calling is my art. So that's definitely appreciative that all those that are on this live. If you guys have questions, hashtag live. If you're watching right now, drop them in the comments. They're going to go back in. We're going to provide even more value after this live. Hashtag replay on the replay. And I just appreciate you guys taking some time out and just doing this. This is an awesome opportunity for all of us here.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff.
Thank you, dude.
It's great to be on, man.
This is awesome. If they didn't gain value, something they got to wake up and hit replay again, because there's so much in this so that they definitely will learn. If they're a newbie, if they're in the middle of the road, if they're a top producer, I'm sure there's some tips they can utilize throughout this whole entire live. So, guys, I appreciate every one of you, and we'll definitely have something like this in the near future. And I hope you all have an awesome rest of your day.
And I'll refer out to you guys. Now I know who's in Wayne. I'll send them over.
Beautiful. I got some showings to get to in a few.
Yes.
I got to check out that billboard, Pete.
You should. Take care, guys.
All right, guys.
See you guys.
Right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.